There's a great feel here.
Finesse dribble doesn't really have any special controls, you just slightly tilt the left stick. However, getting used to the control and using them freely is a different story. When you generally control the left stick, the player uses only the outside front of the foot to control the ball. Just like in real football, you can't drag the ball with the inside of the foot or move it with the sole of the foot, but finesse dribble allows you to do these things. It has various hidden motions. However, in actual gameplay, the most effective motions are the drag back and the ball roll. Although the motions themselves look simple, they are very effective skill for dealing with the opponent's fast cancel defending or R1 pressing. In EAFC, you can activate the ball roll by simply flicking the right stick, but in eFootball, it's a somewhat difficult skill. Even in real football, you don't see the ball roll very often, because it goes against the natural inertia of a forward momentum. The ball roll isn't used often. Instead, using a quick ankle snap to change the ball's direction is more efficient. However, in the gameplay of eFootball, where the physical laws of a real football don't perfectly apply, you can use the ball roll as much as you like when you can activate it. I mentioned that the control method is to slightly tilt the left stick, but this isn't as easy as it sounds. I often get asked how much to tilt it, but since everyone has different hand sizes and applies different amounts of force, it's hard to quantify. You have to slightly tilt the left stick and find the right feeling for yourself. For the drag back, you can activate it easily with just a little bit of a practice. However, for the ball roll to the side, it's a bit more challenging. The drag back motion activation feels well synced with the input timing, but for the ball roll, there is a slight delay between the input and the motion activation. Additionally, instead of a flick input, you need to maintain the tilt for a brief moment until the motion activates. Also, you need to input the left stick relatively accurately in the player's left or right directions. The input method is the same on both the PS4 DualShock and the PS5 DualSense controllers. However, the feel is somewhat different. The stick on the PS5 DualSense is slightly higher than the one on the PS4 DualShock. This means that the range of angles you can control is increased. This is more useful for aiming in shooting games. However, in eFootball, which doesn't require complex or precise controls, the higher stick on the PS5 DualSense might make it harder to find the right zone between regular control and finesse control. Personally, I find it easier to activate finesse dribble with the PS4 DualShock than with the PS5 DualSense. You can use accessories like thumbsticks or precision rings to help with stick control. However, simply adding these accessories doesn't make it easier to activate finesse dribble. For thumbsticks, the best choice can vary depending on the individual's hand size and strength. As for precision rings, they limit the range of the stick's movement, helping you stay within the finesse dribble input area. But you won't be able to push the stick all the way, which can affect regular dribbling movements. It depends on personal preference, but I believe getting used to the controls without accessories is the best approach. With the DualSense Edge, as the name suggests, you can gain a slight edge or advantage. By adjusting the stick sensitivity, you can set it to match your preferences. However, this also doesn't guarantee that finesse dribble input will become easier.
But that sort of dynamism is another attribute he's blessed with, and it's revealed on a regular basis too. Closing in on goal. Great chance! That really is so impressive. I'm not making any apologies, but I was willing him to...
I've been using the DualSense Edge recently as well. My left stick sensitivity settings are steady, curve +5, and dead zone 5%. With this setup, the finesse dribble activation area is around here. Practicing while maintaining the tilt feeling for the cursor to reach this area will help. Even if there's lag in online games, drag back and ball roll are simple but very effective. However, for these skills to work well, you need to consider a few things: the direction and the speed at which the opponent is approaching, and the body positioning of the player you are controlling. It may seem complex, but with practice you can become familiar with it. Try to get used to the drag back input in training mode. The ball roll might not work as well because players' movement tends to automatically adjust towards the goal. For ball roll practice, try training in the trial match mode against the Superstar AI. The player movements are heavy and slow, giving you a more online gameplay feel, and the AI presses aggressively, so you can practice activating the ball roll, feeling the direction and speed of the AI pressing aggressively. Keeping the left stick in the finesse dribble zone while continuously using Alt2 to keep the player running and triggering finesse dribble motions can be very difficult. The most common method is to briefly release the left stick so that it can be in neutral state when the player gets close to the ball, then slightly tilt the left stick again to activate the finesse dribble. First, it might not work well and can be very frustrating. However, humans have an amazing ability to adapt. It might take some time depending on the individual, but you will eventually get used to it. I started playing FIFA from version 16 and I remember it took about 6 months to get comfortable with slightly tilting the left stick with the combination of Alt2. It just takes time and patience, but you can do it. If I, who struggle with quick defense cursor changes due to slower reactions, can manage it, I believe you can too.
Well seen, saw that coming.
Some say that input for finesse dribble doesn't need to be this difficult and that Konami could assign this function to a button like R1 in PES. However, I have a different opinion. I believe finesse dribble control is a skill that users can learn and activate through their own effort, especially in eFootball, which is becoming increasingly automated. I don't mean elitism or pride here. If this control becomes too easy or automated, eFootball might end up like FIFA, which feels like a circus. In FIFA version 17, there was a skill called face-up dribbling, which was activated by pressing L2 and R2 simultaneously. It had a similar concept to the finesse dribble in eFootball. I remember that the movement looked quite ridiculous and made an arcade-like game appear even more unrealistic. Even matches between pro gamers looked ridiculous by this unrealistic face-up dribbling. The finesse dribble motions in eFootball are already somewhat unrealistic. I agree that games should stay true to their nature, but I also believe that they should be based on some level of realism. What do you think? eFootball users aren't yet familiar with these finesse dribbles, so they haven't complained about the difficulty of the control yet, which is why a button hasn't been assigned. However, if complaints continue, a button for finesse dribble might be introduced. Since most buttons are already assigned functions, it might be activated by pressing L2 and R2 simultaneously, just similar to FIFA. Who knows, Konami may do it or not in the near future. Well, that's all I have to say about finesse dribble, since factors like player body structure, speed changes, center of gravity, and inertia have already been mentioned in other videos, so there's no need to discuss them again here. There isn't a so-called tutorial for it. You simply need to slightly tilt the left stick to activate it. With time and patience, you will eventually experience the joy of discovering new gameplay possibilities opened up by finesse dribble. Good luck and thanks for watching, guys. Stay healthy in the hot summer and have a good weekend.